Hi, I'm Richard Dean Anderson.
Name's MacGyver.
Colonel Jack O'Neill, SG-1.
My name is Pratt. Ernest Pratt.
I always get a happy, tingly feeling when I see those guys.
Name one contract that I failed to execute.
MacGyver.
Oh, here we go.
You're a target. And I don't intend to miss.
Over my rotting corpse. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud?
Glowing eyes, cliché behavior, evilness, that kind of thing. Is mental illness contagious? You think?
You can do anything you want to do if you put your mind.
Well, you do have a penchant for pulling brilliant ideas out of your butt. Head. Out of your head when we need them.
Oh, the stuff's already here. I just find a different way to use it.
I like your attitude.
Permission to take a team through the Stargate, sir.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to a long overdue episode of the MacGyver podcast. I'm your host, Mac Jackson, and you may notice this lovely person right next to me. That would be my lovely Mrs. Cindy.
Hello.
First of all, just let everybody know what's going on. We didn't forget to do this podcast. Lots of stuff was happening. Got a different job, life. Also, I had the other podcast. If you haven't watched it, the Never Gets Old podcast, check it out. It's like this, only more general. But the other thing is we're trying to get guests for this show. And I'm getting what I've learned to be the Hollywood yes is a term that I've learned. And basically, it's the people that are supposed to come on sincerely mean yes. I'd love to come on. But then you have to wait because they're working. A lot of times these are working actors or writers or what have you, and they do want to come on. But then you got to pin them down for a specific time. And, so the Hollywood yes. In the meantime, though, I've also been bugging Nate to come on and let's do an episode review. He's busy. Good for him, bad for us. But the good news is that I get to have my lovely bride with me. Cindy, who you will know, if you listen to the MacGyver SG-1 audio series, she is the voice of Samantha Carter and Cindy Gans. And also the model for Cindy Gans in the artwork provided by Warlock. He's done a great job when he submits that type of thing. So if you listen to the audio series, you're gonna recognize her voice and her face. So there it is. And it's appropriate that I have my wife on this episode because we get to see MacGyver's first consistent, other than Pete, consistent returning friend. And it happens to be someone who he gets to kiss or kisses him a lot. That'd be Penny Parker. The episode we're going to talk about is the first season episode, Everytime She Smiles. Let me give you a little taste here. Let's see. Terry Hatcher, obviously, is Penny Parker. She's done rather well for herself. The guy who is Stefan, the blonde-haired boyfriend, he got a lot of work. He did a couple MacGyvers. We'll see him again. But I also remember my uncle, I don't know how appropriate this was of him, but when I was a teenager, he gave me a tape of shows that he liked. And one of them was on HBO, which I didn't get, called Dream On. And as I recall from this, it was basically a show where the lead character typically dreamed that he was having sex with whoever he ran into, woman-wise. And Stefan, whose name is Kai Wolf, Ullff. Kai, Kai. I pray to God I say that right. If I'm wrong, I apologize. Doing the best I can. But he shows up on that show. In the one episode I saw, here's teenage me. Oh, my uncle sent me a tape of thing, and boobs. And coming to the door is Kai, who says something like, "Go F yourself." That's not the Stefan that I know. That's not the guy. So that kind of, I wouldn't say it shook me, but it was like, oh, this guy's going to play other parts and he may have to say some not so great things. So that's, other than MacGyver, I may have seen him once or twice. But of course, like the rest of us, when you see an actor from MacGyver or Stargate, you go, hey, that's the actor from MacGyver or Stargate. Let me give you I'm going off what is here on the MacGyver Online, our friends at MacGyver Online. I always go to them for any sort of quick reference to get names right and all of that. So the director was Charles Correll, written by James. Yep. Schmimmer. You sure?
Let's go Schmimmer.
Yeah. Original air date was February 19th, 1986. MacGyver quick getaway from Bulgaria with stolen MacGyver's. There you go. That makes more sense. MacGyver's quick getaway from Bulgaria with stolen microfilm is stymied by an American who involves him in her lover's quarrel with a Bulgarian security officer, who happens to be Penny Parker. Now, I'm going to get comfortable here because we're going to dive in. That's good. That's nice. See why she gets to act. This is a landmark episode. One, obviously, because we get to see Penny Parker for the first time. All that great stuff. But also, it's really the first time we get to see MacGyver. By all means, jump in and correct me if I'm wrong. We're live, by the way, so anybody who can jump in and say hi, you're more than welcome. I'm trying to, let me click over here, see if there's comments. So, it's the first time we get to see MacGyver kind of be the straight man. It's really the first time you get to see a lot of the faces and responses that he'll use the rest of the series and then on into Stargate SG-1, where somebody's just aggravating the living crap out of him. And God, that's true to life. I've known quite a few Penny Parkers in my life. I've known a few Jack Daltons, but he's for a later episode. But this jumps out at you because he is typically has to be stoic and has a mission, and it's him by himself. And now in this case, he gets to play off someone who, boy, you'll come to probably get annoyed with her if this is your first time seeing her, but that's kind of her point. I don't think you're necessarily supposed to identify with Penny Parker, and if you do, I'm sorry. So another thing about this episode that I love is, let's go down the storyline here. He is walking through a park. He's on a mission. This is what they would do early on in these episodes. And rightfully so. He is I know he calls himself a troubleshooter, but for lack of better word, he's a spy, secret agent, especially in this type of situation. And so his mission is to go in, get the microfilm, get it out of there. They've already set this up. They have a fake conversation, he and the older gentleman who's in the park playing chess by himself. I hope he wins. And it's very well-written spy stuff. I believe it. It's right.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It was the dialogue and everything was believable as a regular conversation, and also as, you know, we're kind of telling each other this is what's going on and here's what we
Yeah,
do.
I'm
and,
the guy that you're supposed to meet
exactly. And here's, you know, the sleight of hand kind of thing where we do what we have to do.
with. The whole thing with the microfilm under the chess piece,
Mhm.
really smart. Nobody would think they were up to anything bad. MacGyver's always just laid back, casual anyway. So, you know, they do the whole slide thing, and then he takes out a stamp, and I think I'll send this home. Brilliant. My thought is, I bet he wishes he mailed that postcard right away. Because who's going to think anything of it? You'd send it through the mail, it gets where it has to go. They know to take off the thing. You know, maybe it was a matter of, this is too important to just leave out of my sight.
It didn't even really occur to me it was something he was going to mail. It struck me as something, just a way to get it to him.
Agreed.
So
Yeah.
I wasn't even really thinking about him mailing it ever.
I thought he probably was just going to throw it in his luggage, get home, you know, and that way if anybody does see it, oh, it's just a postcard.
Mhm.
Of course, my thought would be, well, then why didn't you mail it when you were over there? But I digress. By that point, nobody else should see it. Nobody should think about it. Nobody was supposed to go through his bag. Then he meets Penny Parker, and things go downhill. But he hurt his hand, which, you know, they had to write in because Richard Dean Anderson, like MacGyver, likes to do his extreme sports and live the life of adventure. I don't know if anybody out there knows. I probably could have done some research, but I'd rather have a little dialogue with you guys. If anybody knows what he did that time, because it comes up again, to hurt his hand, I don't know, but I'd love to find out. But yeah, it looks like, this time I noticed it looks like it's a cloth bandage
It looks
around
like a
his
sprain.
arm. Like a sprain,
Yeah.
yeah. But he uses it a lot like a cast in this episode, which I thought was clever ad-libbing, or, you know, change it at the last second because of the circumstance. When he's hitting somebody, he's hitting them with this forearm. So all these years before watching it, it looks like he's smacking them with a hard cast. He hits him on the back of the neck, coming up. He smashes the guy like that in the face. Which you don't need a cast to do, but I bet you it would have made it easier if it were a hard cast, which is, again, how I took it. So he gets the microfilm. See you later. Should be the end of it. He's just trying to leave the airport. He's trying to get on a plane and get home. And Penny Parker shows up. And it's so funny. I know it's 86. The hair. Right?
Yeah.
Not the best.
It was true. It was real. I mean, that is literally 80s hair, and that's how it was.
In that style?
Yeah.
Because her hair later on is, besides it would pass today, was in the late 80s, early 90s. But that style in particular, I don't know. It doesn't really reek of 80s to me, per se. I mean, you're the one who might have worn it, so I defer to you. But I don't know. It's not the best. That's just, as a viewer, having some fun with what we're, seeing. But probably her least pretty hairstyle from all the times we see
That
her.
I'll agree with. It wasn't like flattering look. I mean,
No.
she's obviously pretty no matter what, but yeah, that look wasn't her best.
It's
for sure.
very poodle.
It was
does
old looking to me. That's
That's exactly what I mean.
It was too old for her face.
Yeah, it's pulled back. She's got the little poof and just whatever.
Poofy.
Poofy. So yeah, and before this, she was a solid gold dancer. Terry Hatcher. Was it solid gold? No, sorry. not solid gold dancer. That was Terrell. I believe Terrell was a solid gold dancer. Terry Hatcher was on the Love Boat as one of the dancers. It'd be great to know if she was on, probably not, one of the episodes, the one episode where Richard Dean Anderson was on the Love Boat early on. Yeah, that would have been neat. It's kind of like with Teal'c being on an episode of MacGyver. Anywho, so they get talking. Man, you know, I know this. I've been there. You're minding your own business. And she's nice.
But
Thank God she's nice. Because she's annoying as can be. And MacGyver lets it known. And here's the thing I love and try to emulate myself. I love this about MacGyver. He's trying to be as nice and patient as he can when his face is saying,
Screaming.
holy crap. Yeah. Like, wow. And also, and I relate to this, he lets out little comments to try to make himself laugh and also make the point without hurting her feelings. Like later on when she says, oh, we seem to be on the same wavelength. He says, well, that worries me. And she kind of looks at him because now she got it.
Mhm.
But there are other times in this episode where he makes comments and she's not picking up on his sarcasm, which is fine because I don't think he wants to ever hurt her feelings. Sure. And as we all know, as the series goes on and she comes back, she thinks of him, well, he thinks of her like a little sister. He looks out for her. And he's just always trying to be patient, but always trying to be supportive and always trying to look out for her. You know, like a big brother. I always think, please jump in, tell me what you think. She wants to be with MacGyver. If he had shown any sort of romantic interest, she would pounce on him. She accepts the way things are. But count in the series how many times she kisses him. I don't mean oh, you're a good big brother. It's a right on the lips. I'm going to make out with you. And MacGyver's like in this episode, to make her feel better, gives her a little kiss. Well, there you go. Which, that scene where they're in the restaurant. Again, jumping ahead, I'll get back. The scene where they're in the restaurant talking, and he says, you stay here.
Mhm.
I'm going to go. That second part where she kind of says, are you going to come back for me?
Right.
And he goes, of course. And she goes, well, do you think I'm special? Oh, he gives her the whole pep talk kind of thing, gives her a little kiss. That always got edited out. When they would repeat them, these episodes on what started to be repeated on the USA Network originally, they always would take certain scenes out. So that's the part that you would forget about. Well, now when I have them on DVD. Oh, and by the way, here, Blu-ray, the nice folks who made that. Oh, here's a little side note. I was supposed to be part of that. I did a collection of videos for them and wrote the book inside that's supposed to go with it. Proud to be part of it. Bust my little hiney. Did a MacGyver podcast special thing. Book-wise, video-wise. It was supposed to be on the CD. It was an added bonus. Someone higher up than the people who were kind enough to ask decided, no. At the last second. No, we don't want all that. We're going to have our guys do it. So I'm a little disappointed. Doesn't quite say enough. But the fine folks who asked me were kind enough to send me the Blu-ray collection. Haven't taken it out of the plastic yet. Part of it would break my heart to open that book and not see my words in there. But at some point I will be opening it and enjoying the Blu-rays. But yeah. Well, welcome to show business. I know a lot of writers who have told me all the work they put into something just to have it yanked at the last minute. This was more, I feel like it was somebody higher up at Paramount or whoever made that decision, trying to throw their weight around just to show that they were throwing their weight around. Look at how important I am. I make decisions to cast off all this guy's work. It didn't hurt anything. I wasn't getting paid for it. It was all free. It was all, happy to contribute.
It was done already.
Yeah, it was done. But whoever had to sign off on it decided to have their cousin Shlomo put their spiel into it. Oh, stupid Shlomo. Anyway, that's heartbreaking. But again, I thank the fine folks who didn't have to, and am forever grateful for that. And to know that I was part of it to one degree or another makes me happy. But I wasn't able to tell all you folks any of this because it wasn't officially out there. But now that it's there and I'm not in it, I get to tell you about it. And it's pretty darn aggravating. Some of the folks from the series, writers, producers, they didn't take them up on their offer either. They got some people. You'll see that when you open the box. But there's so many things they could have done and they didn't bother. And wow. I found out that Paramount is one of the leaders in being troublesome for no reason whatsoever. Like, there's no reason to deny people things, but they cause that type of trouble more than most. So if you're ever wondering why we're not seeing MacGyver stuff like we should, right? We got the Funko, thank God. There should be more MacGyver things in this world, and it's somebody up high that doesn't feel like saying yes to things or making people happy. They're not really protecting anything. They're just
because they can.
Yeah. Anywho, back to the episode. Couldn't wait to tell you guys that, though. It's been eating at me for the longest time. So yeah, Penny, I always got the feeling that she really desired MacGyver. And MacGyver just tries to keep his patience with her, which is true to life. And it's something that I have learned by watching him handle Richard Dean Anderson, too, by the way. I've said this on previous things, is a master of being professional and being kind when he doesn't always have to be. When people are asking him, hey, here's a tea bag and here's a paper clip, make something, he's able to go, okay. Or if they ask him the same 20 questions for the last 30 years, he smiles and just rolls with it. Well, this is part of that. Him as dealing with Penny Parker is along the same lines as Rick in real life. God bless him. I aspire to be like him. So they get talking. The line about, you're an American? Yeah. Oh, thank God. They're all foreigners here. Foreigners? You just, okay. Oh, boy. And he's looking around, too, like, okay, I'm just stuck in line with this person. It'll be over soon. Okay, I'm being polite. Turns, and she bumps into him when Stefan and his buddies show up and drops the bag into his pocket. Which, wow, Penny. What are you, like, you're supposed to be innocent. That's not a... Right? It does not seem like almost like a not evil, not good,
opportunistic.
But like, you're stealing.
Yeah.
If the guy wants them back,
but in her mind, he gave them to her and they're hers, and he wants them back, and he shouldn't be able to get them back because now they're hers.
Sure.
And that was how her mind was working.
However, when your ex shows up with guys with guns, give him what he wants. just avoids a lot of hassle. Meanwhile, while she goes to talk to him, and he's trying to be very kind with her, poor MacGyver's going through the metal detector, and it goes off. And I loved him just like, why?
Yep.
Because I'm sure he took his knife out and put it in the side thing and all that. Just I know you got to do that. And now post 9/11, you can't even enter a ballpark with it, or nail clippers, which I found out. Our local ballpark, what are they called? The Rail Riders. They have a pair of my nail clippers because I didn't feel like walking all the way back to the car. I'd already walked to the car to drop off my Swiss Army knife because I saw that coming. But a little pair of nail clippers that was hooked onto my keychain, I'm sorry, sir, you can't enter with that. What, are you afraid I'm going to clip people to death? Back off. At that point, I was with my daughter, kid's birthday, just keep them. So they surround him, and I think normally MacGyver would just be like, okay, let's go. We'll talk this out. I know I didn't do anything wrong, but because he has the microfilm, he decides, and he hits the guy and runs. I don't know how far he thought he was going to get, but he's MacGyver, so he probably would have figured something. However, and this is neat because it's true to life, he goes to run into the women's room and a woman is coming out, and she screams, and he stops, and they get him.
Yep.
Little sidebar, anybody who's a fan of the Dukes of Hazzard will recognize the woman who screams as Boss Hogg's wife. I loved Dukes of Hazzard when I was a kid. Me and my buddy were Bo and Luke Duke. I had the blonde hair. He had the dark hair. Bo, and he was Luke. So I knew her. And let's see. I think they had one more year of Dukes of Hazzard. I think it might have been on its last year at that point. So she could have still been doing Dukes of Hazzard at the time. But it's interesting. Wait, her name is Peggy Ray. Give me 2 seconds here. I don't want to get this wrong. Peggy Ray. Angry woman at airport. She had, it was weird that she took such a small part. Not only that, she had to speak in a Bulgarian accent. I wonder what happened there. Easy work, one line.
Maybe she was a fan.
Yeah, it'd be early on, but sure, yeah.
Okay. Still.
But if you watch Dukes of Hazzard, they would dedicate episodes around her character. You know, she was in the general lead one of the times when it jumped. So yeah, they get them and they throw them in a room, and you know, where is it? Well, they got everything back. They take their luggage, they take the microfilm that they don't know that they have, and they don't know that she's, well, they do know, but she's holding back a ring. Because again, to her, it's paste, it's garbage. She doesn't think anything of it. Well, it turns out, no. The uncle of Stefan stole those. And if they get caught, they're going to get killed or sent to Siberia or work farm. Nothing nice. Well, blonde hair Stefan doesn't know anything about it. He just what? He just let her have some of mother's old crap. No, you idiot, the uncle says. This was the stuff I stole from the government. This is, 7,000 lira or whatever the heck it was. Leva. Apparently that's a lot in American money, I'm assuming. So she's holding it back. And it's amazing because MacGyver isn't part of this. Wrong place, wrong time. I'm watching this thinking if he just stood out of line for a couple minutes, it wouldn't have been his problem. He would have been home living his life. So, yeah, now they're in there and they're like, well, we'll be back. And they take all their stuff. They're handcuffed together, which I think, you tell me what you think, it's interesting that the first thing he didn't do is get them out of the handcuffs. Right?
Yeah.
Because any other time,
I didn't think about it until he did get them out of the handcuffs. I'm like, why didn't he just do that before?
it doesn't take him long.
Yeah.
And especially since he used her earring, which he had on her the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering what the writers were thinking. Was it like, oh, have them chained together for a scene or two because that'll make things awkward and kind of comical? And I'm thinking that's what it was. But you get handcuffed. Your first thought is, all right, well, before I can do anything else, let's get this off. But they start talking. And one of the things that she does the whole time is go off on her side tangents while he's trying to have a conversation or make a point. And he's just, later, not now. And so and I love this too. All right, puts his ear to the wall. This is the way out. Door's locked. If I could just poke through, I hear some sort of machine on the other side. And I think he probably figured out that it was the luggage.
Conveyor belt.
Yeah, conveyor belt. And he takes the coat stand and smashes through the plaster. And it is plaster and wood. Which I very much believe being Bulgaria. What he didn't count on was the chicken wire, which I'm sure was there to reinforce the plaster, to hold it all in place. I love that it wasn't, I'll just poke through the wall and we're out of here. We can move this story along. It was, oh crap, there's a problem I didn't anticipate. And I love the way he's like, well, I can't poke through this chicken wire. And like he goes, get me the chair. Well, why don't I get two chairs so we can both sit? It's not for sitting. It's never mind. And then he gets the coat hangers, asks her to bend them out, and he's gonna make a figure eight. And she's still going off on her own tangents. Like, can you
focus?
Yeah. And you know the whole time he's going. But again, this is the first time we're really seeing this out of MacGyver. This is going to happen a lot from now on. But that's one of the things that makes this such a great episode. We get to see him in a different light. We get to see him react to a different person. We get to see him react as opposed to being the guy who creates other people's reactions. And so he says, he takes it, he's going to try and he's poking it through the chicken wire, trying to get the conveyor belt. And she goes, what are you doing? He goes, well, you ever been to a rodeo? Yeah, once my uncle. Later. And I love that because he's already done with her. He was done with her before they got out of line. But again, he's trying to be polite. God bless him. And at the same time, there's only so much politeness you can have. So he ends up hooking onto the zipper, I guess you would call it, where they are connected. And I like that when you see the hook go through, it's bouncing off the luggage. It's not that simple kind of, but a lot of shows would have had it speed up. All right away, he throws it through and, it's gone. They let him struggle. And it pulls the chair right through. And they go to leave. And she turns around. He goes, what are you doing? She has to get her purse. And they are on the conveyor belt laying there, just trying to get out of there. And she's like, this is like a ride at Disneyland. Will you keep your head down? Like the way he says that. So
He's done.
Yeah. Gigi, I just shut up. And of course, then the comical moment. Oh, by the way, backing up for a half second, I love the musical beat. The moment that you go, oh, here we go. It's that, dun, dun, dun. Like he starts to work on whatever he's working on, and here comes your musical cue to go. MacGyver stuff's happening now. It gives you the chills. So then they get out of there, and people are staring at them as they come through out into the public from the conveyor belt. They hop up, and I was told this was an ad lib. I don't know what the original line was supposed to be, but when he goes, economy class, kind of funny, but it's very much like Rick to ad lib, even this early. Maybe he didn't like whatever the original line was going to be. So people look at them and they get out of there, and little touches that you may not notice. He takes the scarf from her purse as they're walking outside and wraps it around the handcuffs, because handcuffs kind of make people look. Again, most of the time he would have gotten rid of them right away. And also when they hail a cab, you're in the cab. Why don't
Right, you have time then.
Yeah, you have plenty of time.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's just a little notice thing that I'm sure other people are thinking too. I think whoever wrote it was just trying to have the comical, they're tied together kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it does kind of jump out at we MacGyver folks who go, that doesn't seem like he would allow that. Because I know I don't like to be restrained. I'm sure he doesn't either.
Especially in a situation like that where you might have to defend yourself. You might have to, do whatever.
Exactly. And run. I mean,
Yeah.
golly gee. Yeah, before you rip through a wall, get rid of the handcuffs. So then they go back to see their friend who's playing chess. They're walking through the park. And by the way, what a freaking bright dress she's wearing. Like canary yellow. Not great for blending into a crowd. I'm thinking, golly, that'd be the second thing I'd do. Take the handcuffs off, put her in something else. Overalls. I really don't care. Something that isn't so bright.
Or even just a coat or something over it,
Yeah. Roll her in some mud, whatever. So the guy goes, psst, psst, come here. What the heck are you doing here? You're supposed to be on a plane out of here. And he says, my friend Penny. Hi. And, just shut up, Penny. Grown-ups are talking. And he's going to help them. They kind of, he explains to them that, oh, no, this ring that she has, here's what you need to know. The uncle stole this. This is bad stuff. Because the chess player is part of an underground movement. And turns out Stefan had let him go previous to this episode just to see if it would lead back to, like, higher-ups in the rebellion. Smart move. But now they're out to get him. They figure if they can get him, they'll get Penny and MacGyver. So the old guy says, all right, walk with me, follow me, but stay behind. Don't walk next to me. But, well, they get 3 steps out the door. And here they come. Here come the bad guys. Get them! Oh, crap. So MacGyver and Penny run. Old chess guy, he's not so fast. So they nab him. But the others, Stefan and his 2 friends, or I think it was 2 guards, chase them onto a merry-go-round. Well, MacGyver and Penny jump over it into the guts of it and turn it on. And so they hop on thinking they're just going to cross over. But MacGyver forces it to the red, speeding it up. So they're just hanging on for dear life. Then he gets some gears and dumps them, or bolts or whatever, and dumps them into the gears, which is pretty smart. And I don't envy these guys when it stops, because either you went flying or you slammed into a horse in front of you, so that knocks them down for them to get away. So then let's see. Then they go to the restaurant.
Back up 1 second.
Sure.
I did wonder about him speeding up the carousel so much. Like, I'm just picturing kids. Like, why do they have that speed? I'm picturing kids like zooming around a carousel at that speed. Woo! Like, why do they have that?
Yeah. Why would
Okay.
that be a thing?
Yeah.
But apparently it is. I mean,
Episode.
I've seen it on a lot of things. They actually do make them that fast. I don't know what the logical reason is, because clearly there's a standard setting.
Right.
But for whatever reason, they have it go more. Probably to give it a little leeway as far as if as fast as it goes is as fast as you always said it. I think you want to give it a little cushion. So I think that's why they give it,
Right. So it's not something that you would necessarily push to the full maximum. It's just kind of like you have a range.
You have a range, and also if they have to test it and, make sure it's just waiting for this thing to go around. That one gear was acting up. Well, now we got to wait for it to come around 100 times. Put it on fast, it gets there quicker. Nobody's on it.
Yeah.
So, ting, 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 ting. Oh, there's that sound. Okay, slow it down. Ting, 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 ting. There's the part we got to fix. Works. So then they go to the restaurant, and, it's smart. He's very spy-ish in this episode. He's very early on, especially like the first season, they make you know that he's been doing this for a while. He knows certain tricks that he's used before. There's certain logic, like we're hiding in plain sight, which of course Penny goes, it's like hiding in plain sight. That's the idea. Well, behind them, outside, are guards.
Again, in your dress.
This is where I was going with this. Change, woman. Have you looked in the mirror? I'm sure you have. You're wearing a bright yellow dress. Let's stop at a store, maybe. I don't know. Put on a blouse. But there's guards outside, so that gives you the feeling like, they're looking at the people outside. They're not necessarily looking for the people inside, because who would go inside? You're on the run.
Right.
Still gutsy, but okay. He's been doing this a while. He's giving you the little bit of here's how this typically works. One of the things I learned immediately with MacGyver as a kid, originally watching these episodes, from the first episode, was everybody thinks this way. So your logic, his logic, is to go against that. I mean, to say it that simple doesn't quite do it justice. But there's things that he would throw out there throughout the entire series where you're like, yeah, you're right. Your natural reaction is to do this. Then do the opposite. Even if it looks like you're putting yourself in more danger, you're really not. In this case, I'm exposed, so I'm not exposed. That's great. I mean, that's such unconventional thinking, which is another thing that I think sets him apart. Obviously, not even talk about the genius MacGyverisms, but just the practical understanding of people and the way that they think and the way that they act and the reasons that they do act and think certain ways. Use it against them when you need to. It's very, very in touch with his understanding of people, I guess, is the only way to really say it. So then they have the whole conversation at the table, and he says, all right, so I'm going to go, you stay here. Oh, yeah, she's like, there are some guards. Yeah, and there's a guard station right outside on the corner. So the whole thing, he's just, God, give me strength. But you didn't think to ask or tell me this before. So he's like, all right, I'll figure out a way in. You stay here because you can't come along in your canary dress. Stay here. Are you going to come back for me, she says. Yeah, of course. Well, I kind of have a habit of having guys.
Trusting guys.
Yeah.
That aren't worth trusting, basically.
And he says sincerely, I wouldn't do that. And she says, what does she say? Something like, you're a good person, and he kind of tries to like comfort her and give her a little, it's okay, relax, calm down. And he even ups the ante by saying you're a good person, and I think you have the potential to be. Do you think I'm something like that. You think I'm amazing? And he says, I think you have the potential to be. Meaning, and I love this because he doesn't say, yeah, I think you're amazing. I don't know you.
Right.
You're the reason I'm in this. That's great. Because when they were in that room earlier, trapped in the room, she's like, are you mad at me? And he's looking around. Why would I be mad at you?
She's listing the 17 reasons.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, right.
Yeah, he's like, no, yeah, whatever. And they took your passport. Okay, now that I almost forgot about. Okay, I'm mad at you. Don't say that. Like, all right. So gives her a little kiss to make her feel better and says, you have the potential to be great. And that's for luck. And she stands up and gives him a good one. And the look on his face is, okay, I'm not going to fight this, but I don't know you. And, it's...
And I have other things I have to do, too.
But it's also the thing of, and every time she kisses him, he never leans into it. He never goes, all right, it's smooching time. He kind of stands there, lets it happen, but keeps his hands to himself. Even all the years that he's known her, when she does that, he doesn't like dive in. He just kind of, okay, so that's what we're doing right now. Okay. Because he knows she's simple. And if that's the way she's gonna be affectionate, oh no, there are worse things. But he gives her one of these. Okay. And she goes, we need all the luck we can get. Okay. So then they skip ahead to where he's climbing in a second story window, I'm going to assume, from the camera angle that they use in a couple minutes. Which means he had to scale the wall to one degree or another and shimmy on in. Which I'm glad they skipped that part because we've seen people scale walls. Got it, it would have taken up time to watch him do all that. We've seen him do it before. We're going to see him do it again. It wasn't necessary. Best to do the cut of him coming in. And I love the internal dialogue about how he calls himself simple for bothering to talk to Penny Parker. Like everything was going well. All I had to do was go in, play a game of chess, get home. That was it. And then he's looking around. He gets inside. Okay, yeah. Looking for his stuff. Finds his bag. Finds the postcard. Great. And as he gets his backpack, and then you hear, MacGyver, it's me, Penny, me. And he's like, oh, God. Hey, Penny, what are you doing here? Well, these guys were, hitting on me and buying me drinks and this, so I got out of there. But you came here. How'd you get in here? The guy let me in. Did he? So now they know you're here. Oh, yeah, and you had to climb in the window. And he's like, okay. I'm fine. I'm not mad. And he's like, the only thing we don't have is our passports. And I love the fact the passports weren't just thrown in the bag. When Stefan took the bag, he took what he thought he needed. He doesn't care about the passports, so let that stay at the office or wherever they took them. Probably back at the airport for all we know. So
wasn't there one point where he actually had them and he was shuffling? Because I remember
the uncle. Yeah.
So he did keep them. They just weren't.
But he never took them back to his apartment.
No, never.
He took his, the jewelry and everything. And MacGyver's logic was great too. Another smart MacGyver thing where he says, think about it. You don't want to bring it back to a government building because you're going to get caught with them. Why would you do that? So chances are it's at his apartment that you know about Penny. So get us there. And of course, here comes Stefan down the hall. So MacGyver says, all right, in the kitchen. He goes into the kitchen. Freaking Penny stays and sits on the couch and waits for him to walk in. And it's it's something because Stefan isn't a bad guy per se. I mean, he's not great, but he's not part of this. It was his uncle that messed up. And he's trying he's obviously infatuated with Penny for whatever reason. And is being very patient with her. Like, I was hoping I wouldn't find you. But he doesn't pull out a gun and, oh, I'm going to kill you. It's, oh, hi, sweetie.
This is complicated now.
Yeah. Golly gee, Penny. What? Can I have my ring back? And they get talking. So MacGyver's in the kitchen and comes up with taking the gas off the stove, the gas line, putting it towards the window, making something, which I know they were smart enough to take some ingredients out so a kid doesn't blow himself up. I got that. I'm thrilled for it. One of the times where you could tell there's something missing from this thing. And if anybody wants to jump in and explain this MacGyverism, please do. Because he has something boiling in a pot. He uses lard and some
dried up oven cleaner.
Yeah, dried up oven, and smears it with a piece of paper over it. Now, in the pot is rat poison,
Flakes.
soap flakes.
Yeah, the soap flakes.
And I feel like
Some
something
sort of
else.
oil.
Yeah, cooking oil maybe.
Maybe.
It's a kitchen, why not? I don't understand how this works. And I don't know why the boiling here and the lard here in front of it, how that works. And again, they didn't show us everything because of kids. But something. I don't understand that one. So please jump in the comments, jump on the MacGyver podcast Facebook page or Twitter. Let me know your thoughts, because I don't get that, and I can get all of them, but that one just never made sense to me. So anyway, he's like, oh well, hey, if your boyfriend comes out or whoever that guy is, because now Stefan thinks she's a spy. Great cover. And so he says, if you get your boyfriend here, and MacGyver sticks his head out right here. Another thing I love about MacGyver in this episode is he's so calling people on their bull crap in such a comfortable way. Like, we're not going to do the back and forth James Bond villain dialogue. He's like, can we cut the crap? He even calls him Steve.
Yes, that was great.
Right? Like, all right, this doesn't look good. What are you going to do? Shoot me? And when he pulls the gun on him, Penny says something like, you're not going to shoot him, are you? Well, yeah, that is the general idea. Well, yeah, the general idea would be for him to blow my kneecaps off.
Right. And she's like, what's wrong with you guys?
Right. But like MacGyver just like, no, I'm not going to do that. And
right.
We're just going to have this.
This is what should happen, but we all know you're not going to do it. So can we just move on?
Yeah.
And
then all of a sudden he sees the smoke. He goes, what did you do? And he walks over to look into the kitchen. I burned the roast. And MacGyver hits him on the back of the neck and knocks him out. Using, I believe, his cast.
I think so, yeah.
Which makes sense. If it's a hard cast, it's going to work anyway. That was one of those that I'm pretty sure whoever the director was, or he could have come up with it. If I have the cast, why wouldn't I use the cast? Right? I mean, it says real life bandage cast. And, okay, because he can't punch. He's right-handed. And that's the one that's damaged. So use it the way that you can. And then the explosion happens out the window, which, okay, here come all the guards. MacGyver tells Penny, grab a bathrobe and blend in. MacGyver grabbed a bathrobe. Penny, not so much. Penny wears
Lingerie, basically.
Lingerie, yeah. But I gotta tell you, as a guy, that's a lot of fur on that. Right? I mean, hey, I'm all for dressing sexy. But when there's like you're part animal or whatever, unless that's your
Feathers or something.
fetish, I don't oh, and the long robe that, you know, with the poofs and the, again, didn't look of the time. Right? Maybe early 80s at best.
70s, yeah.
Which again, Bulgaria, they're a little behind on the times. I'll go with it. I'm not going to complain. Oh, it's my favorite. Just get in the freaking car. And I like this. He's ready to hotwire Stefan's car. She goes, nope, guys, which was so smart because when he walks in, before he notices her, or as he notices her, he takes the keys and drops them in a little pot on the dresser next to the front door.
Yeah.
It was smart of her, can't believe I said that, to know to grab them. And I believe she said that she had been there a couple months. So she was with him a couple months because within this hour episode, you get a lot of backstory of the two of them. They went riding in the country, and he always used to get jealous and would take back his things when he got mad at me. How many times did he give you crap? You know, like if he's taking and giving and taking and giving, at one point you go, cut the crap, dude. Yeah. Why? Which also, I guess, explains why she was like,
I'm keeping it.
I'm keeping this time. Yeah, it kind of gives you backstory, which, wow, 45-minute episode, and you're giving us a lot. Good. It's funny too. Just a little side note: MacGyver is still growing out his hair. It's not the length that we will come to know by the end of the season. I believe Ugly Duckling is where you really start to see a change, which I think is coming up. It's definitely first season. But there's certain, if you look at certain episodes, you can tell, they had a couple week break. His hair's a little longer in the back. Now we're getting closer to what he wants as opposed to short in the beginning and that. Boy, when you see the shorter hair, it really feels
off.
Early on. Still looks great.
Yeah.
But we know what he wants, and
it's not the iconic look.
Yeah. So let me think. So they blend in, they steal the car. I was going to say at this point it starts to slow down for me, but it doesn't. I think because I've watched it so many times and you already know what's coming. It's a car chase. Right? No, at first they're just driving through the night. And Stefan is smart enough to go, all right, they have this much gas in the car. Check around here. Here's the border. I'm going to go with the thought that I have. Which, again, if they've been together for 2 months, she's not the sharpest bulb in the box of crayons. He has her figured out. She's going to go to the place where they used to go ride bikes or horses or whatever the heck it was.
Motorcycles.
There you go. See, I like bad guys that aren't idiots. And typically on MacGyver, you had smart bad guys. Because, again, you elevate the bad guy, you elevate the hero. And it would seem like MacGyver was kicking a puppy if he always took down easy bad guys. Stefan is smart, and she goes, I know of a place, and they go in, and thank God, guess what? She changes. She's not wearing a canary yellow dress. She's not wearing lingerie anymore, and she's wearing his what would you call it? Lumberjack shirt. Yeah, I'm a lumberjack now. Yeah, lumberjack. That's what I'm looking for. And corduroy pants and
big
boots.
Corduroy pants because she keeps on hiking them up too. That was a really good little, note.
Yeah, it's a visual thing that isn't overdone. Look at how silly I look. We're going to be funny now. It's a subtle little endearing thing.
Right.
she's gonna have to fix stuff. And I would have had a problem with, oh, I left one of my outfits here kind of thing. No, it doesn't. Oh, by the way, it's not even his. It's the uncle's. Penny, whose cabin did you say this was? His uncle. Great. I love the thing where, first of all, she does it again. Oh, that's right. Yeah, the gas. He was gonna get gas because we were low. He's like, okay. Wait, what's that thing that they used to plow the crops? A tractor? I love that.
That's fantastic.
I've done it.
Yes, you have.
That's the right amount of sarcasm for containing your disgust or
Rage.
anger. Yeah. And so I like also the fact that he says, she goes, all right, well, I'll go get it. No, I'll get it. Trust me, I'll get it. No, I get it. Penny, it's okay. And as they're having that back and forth, door opens, no big da-da-da. He walks in with the gun.
Hey, guys.
He's like, son of a. And she that was her response. Gee, Dad, son of a bitch, And MacGyver just is like, what? Like, what? Come on, Steve. Put the gun down. We both know this isn't going to benefit you. And they go outside. He's trying to be the good nephew and do what he's supposed to do. But as they go outside, the uncle's there and comes around the corner and goes, oh, very good, Stefan. And now that we got them, I'll take the microfilm. It's a shame MacGyver didn't, because my thought would be, he doesn't know where the microfilm is. Give him something else in your pocket. The Tic Tac. Here, take the Tic Tac. That's the microfilm. If he had the option to hand him anything else, I kind of feel like he would have. Instead, he does the whole thing, does this type of thing as Jack O'Neill too. I don't want to give you this. And as he hands it to him, the guy goes to take it. He squeezes it and won't let go. So the guy has to pull it from his hand. Yeah, I get that. And all right, now shoot them. Whoa. Why? You don't have to, how about, I love MacGyver. Before the uncle shows up, hey, Stefan, why don't you let her go? As a matter of fact, why don't you let us both go? Come on. And then at that moment, he's telling the nephew to shoot them. And MacGyver says, I think you're part of this plan, by the way. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Giving him the heads up. Your uncle could kill you, too. You're trusting the wrong guy.
Yeah, everything we know, you also know. So.
And so that's what finally has Stefan decide to struggle with the uncle and pull the gun away from him.
And the fact that he didn't want to kill them.
Well, yeah, obviously. But again, at that moment, he's torn. We always see these cases on TV where a kid ends up helping their mother kill their father or whatever the case may be. Well, the kid's just trying to follow what their older person told them to do. Yeah. It's not their choice, but they don't know what to do. And this guy's making their decision. I had the feeling that the uncle kind of helped raise Stefan and also is, Mr. Big Shot, I'm telling you what to do, and you're a military guy, and you understand the rules. So if I tell you, you just do it. So I was thinking this too. Stefan is really other than MacGyver, Stefan is really the character arc of this episode. Because he's not a bad guy. He's not a great guy, but he's not a bad guy either. And it's his arc of deciding through the whole thing. What do I go with? Do I follow what I'm supposed to do and be the good soldier? Should I be the good nephew? Wait, I kind of like her. She does have that lingerie thing. It made him more than a one-note villain. And I think Kai probably appreciated that episode as a good role for him. Yeah. And so he decides, all right, changing sides. He's going to struggle with his uncle. And MacGyver comes over, punches him in the gut, and then backhands him. with his other arm to knock him out using the cast. Cool. And again, then takes the card back again, the microfilm. And now they're going to get, now they steal the uncle's car. So you think, all right, they're going to get away. Well, no, the soldiers are right behind them. They pull up. Uncle wakes up, says, did you see them? They just took off. But no, I didn't see it. Get in the car, let's go. So they go, and they're very quickly and realistically right behind them. And I like the little details of, Stefan, can this car outrun theirs? I don't think so. That's what I was afraid of something. And he does the thing where there's an oil truck ahead of them, and he has Penny take the wheel, who, again, Penny won't shut up. Boy, this is like a spy movie. You're going to kill us, Penny. Just steer the darn car. And climbs out instead of going out the side window, climbs through the
Sunroof?
Thank you. I'm like, sky window. Climb through the sky window and climbs down onto the hood. And you see Richard Dean Anderson doing this because as he is on the truck ahead of them, he turns back and yells, come on, get around, go around. That's, wow. Typically they wouldn't do that. I'm sure they didn't have him allow him. He would have. I'm sure they didn't allow him to leap from car to truck. But once he's on there, I'm thinking that's all him. Because, again, they're not shying away from showing his face. And especially when he turns and tells them, come on, bring it around, on the side here. And I appreciate the oil and water don't mix thing. That was great. After they pass him, he basically makes the road slick. The two cars crash. That's a bad crash, too. Uncle's got some boo-boos on his face. It's not like the A-Team where everybody just gets up and is dizzy. Like, as the uncle's freaking out with the bruises and everything on his head, the driver ain't getting up. I don't know if you noticed that. Driver's not getting up. The other guy's going, oh, hey, lock close. Like, lock close, wakey, wakey. Whatever. Bad guys were going. So I appreciate that because it's realistic. I remember being a kid and trying to watch, not that I watched it originally, but people would say, oh, you ever watched the A-Team? You like Dukes of Hazzard. You probably like the A-Team. Couldn't stand the A-Team. Couldn't stand it. Didn't like the idea. And then when it came to the stunts, even as a kid, I'm going, bull crap. You're not having this thing a Jeep flip over like this and have everybody just get out and be dizzy. Nobody's cut, nobody's injured. Thanks, but no thanks. Not to mention, the bad guys would always lock them with their van in a warehouse full of metal and welding equipment that they could just weld something onto the van and drive through the wall. Woo! But I digress. So, watching this happen, they didn't have to focus on it, but people got hurt. The bad guys are hurt. And they get away. And I'm thinking, as they drive around the oil truck, I'd love to see, I'm glad they didn't, but part of me wishes I could see the oil truck driver be like, what the heck?
Yes, I was thinking that too. Like, does this guy not have any idea what just happened?
No, he mustn't, because he's not, I can't see MacGyver until he's on the side of the darn thing, but he certainly heard and saw the explosions. What happened back there?
Like, I think, I hope that wasn't my truck.
That's
the weird.
That. Huh, how come the ground's all wet behind me? Oh, well, boy, those guys in front of me are speeding away. I'm like, what? So then you think, all right, they got away. No. One last caveat is we're going to be in Greece. We're getting away. As soon as we go under this fence, we're going to be in Greece.
Except
as they get under and they start to cross the road, well, here comes a freaking car with soldiers in it. And Greek soldiers. So at least it's not the bad guys. Because I'm thinking back on this, I'm like, wait a minute. If those were still the bad guys, how did they get away? Just because she knew somebody? No, it was the Greek border patrol asks for their passports, which I love that they didn't have, because it would have been too convenient for them to get the passports back.
Yep.
Every show, they always get the passports back, and then they could just fly home and everything's hunky-dory. Well, the adventure continues, typically, in this case, because they don't. How are you getting home?
And it was also something that they started off earlier on, came up again, and then came up again at the end, which was just well written. The fact that they used that a couple different times. You know?
Yeah, it wasn't out of sight, out of mind. It was no. I don't know if you know, but passports are kind of important. They don't let you on a plane without one.
Or under a fence.
You can get under the fence. It's just anywhere after that. You can't go anywhere. And like he's like, yeah, I was afraid you were going to ask. Well, as he's saying, I was afraid you were going to ask that. Penny recognizes the guard as, what was his name? Oh, I typically
I want to say
correct.
Fernando, but
No. That's Spanish.
I know that's why I said
Constantine. Constantine? Is that you? Penny Parker? No. I was mistaken thinking it was her cousin, but it's not. They never say that that's her cousin. I don't know where I got that from. Because I'm like, she doesn't seem Greek. I don't get why not her cousin. They never say that. I don't know where I got that idea. But yeah. He recognizes her, so right away Stefan comes over to MacGyver with the smile. Every time she smiles. You said the title of the episode in the episode. And he's like, I should have known. And it ends with him smiling. So basically what they're saying is because he knows her, they're fine. That again stands out. Even though I didn't understand the MacGyverism, it's the first, it gives new dynamics to MacGyver. It adds greatly to the mythology and the relationships, and obviously, because Penny Parker is a mainstay who we see and becomes less annoying through the years. Never is
not annoying.
Or ditzy. You know, like she's always has some dits to her, but again, MacGyver being the big brother to her, going to see her when she performs nearby and roots for her and good for you. And, you know, it says a lot about his character. And we can both share stories of annoying people that are very Penny Parker-like. And I'm thinking of one on the internet at the moment, who you would never want to hurt their feelings. But holy crap. You know, good person, not necessarily the brightest person, people, I should say, that we come across sometimes. But you don't want to hurt them. You don't want to be mean. You just kind of try to have patience. And sometimes they glom onto you more than you want them to. And you just kind of got to go, oh, God. Okay. That's great. And get your little sarcastic shots in there just to make yourself smile. So that was the episode. Let's find out what the next episode is, because we shall be talking about that shortly. Where did it go? Okay. I'm going to go back to episodes. Oh, that didn't quite work out for me, did it? Well, anyway, I don't want to keep everybody sitting here waiting while I look. We'll figure it out next time. Give me 2 seconds, just because it's going to bother me. Okay, here we go. Season 1. No, that's the wrong. Guys, for the MacGyver online site, when I go to episodes, you have the not MacGyver seasons pop up. I am trying to find MacGyver episodes. Yep, see again. We got, oh no, wait a minute. Sorry. This might have just been updated. I may be mistaken. Please forgive me. Yeah, I think I was looking at, sorry. Look at the wrong thing. The date that they were updated, it made it look like it was the newer ones. So let's see. We still have Deadlock, Nightmares. Oh, that was out of order. Target MacGyver. Prodigal is the, really? Trumbo's World. A Heist. Am I looking in the wrong? I think I'm looking in the wrong direction. Yes, I am. Sorry. Okay, Enemy Within, Everytime She Smiles. To Be a Man. Ooh. To Be a Man is shot down and wounded by the Soviets in Afghanistan. MacGyver is given refuge by an Afghan woman and her son. A lot of neat things happen in that. MacGyver gets shot. Like, he's in bad shape. But that's just your tease for the next episode. In other news, let me think. Oh, okay. Couple housekeeping and fun announcements. Let's go through the not so great stuff first. I spend a lot of time, and I want to thank all the people that are part of our community on Facebook, whether it's the MacGyver podcast page or the audio series page or the, everybody chime in page, the group. There are people, and we talk about this. It baffles me that there are people who wake up in the morning and go, all right, what to do? Let's try and lie, cheat, and steal people on the internet. I spend a lot of time declining or catching people who are trying to pass themselves off as Richard Dean Anderson, people who believe that they are married to Richard Dean Anderson. A new one, Wiley Quinn Anna Rose Anderson, his daughter. Some scumbag tried to, hey, can I take part in your conversation? I'd like to post stuff.
That's a whole new level right there.
You scumbags. You dirtbags. Like, first of all, to ever try and pretend that you're somebody that you're not is sick and twisted. But the fact that you're trying to steal money, you're a whole new level of slime. Oh, wait, we got a comment here from Constantine.
Oh, it's probably answering what was his name?
Oh, hey, thank you. I don't know how I'm gonna say this person's name. There's somebody in the comments, AJ21 Soda and DXing. If I got it wrong, I'm sorry. Answered Constantine, thank you. Do you know when RDA and Hatcher stopped dating? Okay, there are pictures of them showing up at events together, hand in hand. A couple times. I personally would love to think that they really did date. However, through the years, he and her, on separate occasions, multiple times, have denied that. They've said that they're just friends and they went to stuff together as friends. Just like when he and Justine Bateman did Through the Eyes of a Stranger, they were hand in hand at events. They weren't dating. I think Rick is an affectionate person and very nurturing and kind. And also, these are his friends. He's worked with them. So I think the general public wants that to be true. So we kind of go,
Kind of just looks like it.
it looks like it, so let's go with it. Yeah. And wouldn't it be great had that been? Because I wish Rick would find someone that he loves, that he can stay with and be with. But if both of them said they didn't date, who are we to argue? By the way, neat thing, Amanda Tapping and Rick this past weekend or this week were at a convention in Washington State. They've been doing a lot of conventions. Yay, that means they'll be closer to here. I think in July they're going to be, not him, but her and Terrell might be in driving distance for us. Food for thought. Yeah. So we haven't met Amanda yet. Anyway, the way Rick and Amanda are with each other, I think if she wasn't married, I think they would date. They're very sweet and loving, and just, I mean, she said, you watch interviews, she always goes, I get to kiss that guy. And he has no problem being like, woohoo, on his side. So because they're so close and so comfortable with each other, through the years, they're just always holding each other's hand on stage, or he gives her a hug and they grab each other's rear end. It's funny little joke that they have between each other. Well, some of the friends that I see on Twitter, and I'm always going to call it Twitter, they have said, they kind of ship not just Jack and Sam, as they have to because they are, but Rick and Amanda, they ship them. But Amanda's married, so that's never going to happen. But it is a fun, sweet, wouldn't it be cool kind of idea, because you like both of them and you like both of them together. So I think that is part of the same thing with Terry Hatcher. I hope that answers your question. If they really did date, he and Terry Hatcher, and they don't want to admit it, or they want to keep it private that they did, or that's up to them, I guess. I mean, it's their business. But yeah, that's all I've ever heard, was that they were always just friends. If I ever get Terry Hatcher on here, that might come up in conversation. Not that I would ever pry or whatever, but people want to know, right? I mean, it's out there. There's pictures, holding hands. Okay, so anyway, so yeah, scumbags on social media. Stop it. Hey, by the way, here's what happens. I get a notification. Richard Dean Anderson wants to add a comment. Do you? Do you? Because then I go to their page, and it was created a day. That profile was created today. Today. And when I deny that one, a new one gets created. We at the MacGyver podcast community are not idiots. Rick only goes through R.D. Anderson, the site that Kate runs. Kate Ritter runs the site. She gets the comments from him. He will send an email. That's your trusted source. Every time it's his birthday, she gives you the option to send him a birthday message or card or whatever, what have you. That is how he does it, because he is a smart enough man to cherish his privacy. Which, again, for a guy who cherishes his privacy, he goes to these conventions and gives us his all. I mean, he stays late after the place closes and makes sure people get at least 5 minutes. That was always one of his contingencies for doing a convention. I adore him, as you know. That's the biggest reason there. Just being so kind to people. He's smart enough and learned apparently early on, before social media. Keep your private life private. Leave him alone. So anybody who claims to be him, related to him, please stop. I'm just, multiple times a day I'm going, deny and block. If I see anybody post anything where you're full of crap, you're trying to sell something that is not, don't try and sell something. How about that? Just don't try and sell something. We have our own store if people want it. Go to the Forever Adventure Network. There's a store in there. Easy enough to find. But anybody else, I don't want to see you try and sell fancy hats. That has nothing to do with MacGyver. Has nothing to do with Rick. Also, porn, not a fan. Don't do it. It's not getting through. Thankfully, all you wonderful folks, if you see somebody up to any sort of shenanigans, you report it right away, and I can get rid of it. So thank you for that. A lot of nice people. I started to do the thing on Facebook where you give people recognition for contributing so much. Hey, you got the badge of Minnesota or whatever because you're a top supporter, whatever the case may be. I'm trying to see if I can find somebody here who always does that. There's somebody. Here's one. Well, Paul Brown, who used to be Rick's guy at the conventions, posted a great thing. If you go to our podcast page on Facebook, the show is over. Tables have been cleared. Booths have been dismantled. Everyone has gone home, but true to form, Richard is doing his thing to the last man standing. And it's just an empty room with him and this guy while he's signing stuff for him. But I'm trying to see if I can find, and I can't. There are top contributors, 2 seconds here, who always, why did it give them a little woo-hoo for them? Come on. Who always contribute nice things to our page. And of course, it's not going to let me at the moment because I'm trying to give them credit. You know who you are. You great person, you. Yeah, thank you for all of that because I can tell, okay, you're posting something that's for us to enjoy and celebrate, not sell something or, weasel your way into our finances. Let me think. Okay. Also, I have, if you haven't seen them yet, I've been putting the audio series, the MacGyver SG1 audio series episodes up on YouTube because I found that people just tend to browse YouTube and they find it. So that's worth it because people who don't even think about a podcast app won't go, oh, I'm going to look for this particular thing. Also, some people can get in different countries YouTube. Some people can't. Same thing with podcast apps, whatever the case may be. So I'm just making it available to everybody. Wizard Warlock has been nice enough to do artwork that I'm able to use as covers for these episodes. Because when you put things on YouTube, it can't just be sound. You have to put pictures. So I try to add original art that I've done or he's done or somebody else has done. Anytime anybody contributes, I'll use it proudly. Make sure you put your little signature on the corner because I want you to get credit. I want everybody to see it and support you. And yay. Marley Ward does excellent Stargate stuff. She's done great drawings for me. Bless her heart. She had a baby. So, yay. So, I'll understand if she's not drawing as much.
Right, what else has she got to do?
Yeah, right. Kid's sleeping.
All the time.
Or right here. Just, anyway, yeah. So her artist, if you can support her and read her stories, she's done like a Stargate, Jack and Sam, kind of like her own story off to the side that goes with the episodes, especially with Pete, Stalker Pete. And it's great. The art's just clean and beautiful and just enough cartoony that it has that not Pixar. I don't know, Disney, I guess, charm. It's clean. It's really impressive. I have tried to learn from her color palette on how to color things and how to layer stuff myself. But anyway, using all of that, I've been able to put the episodes up on YouTube. I have the Christmas episode to go, and then I have to edit the newest episode, which is written and recorded, but now it's the editing part, and that sucks. But so far, if you've been listening, we've had the pleasure of having Charles Andrew Payne, Breeze himself, who's been a friend to me, has been Breeze on the audio series. As a matter of fact, it's the episode where MacGyver meets his wife at a Borders. That's how we met. So I'm copying that. I'm basically putting MacGyver in my shoes and how, hey, the hot chick stocking the shelves, I guess I'll pursue her. Well, Breeze shows up in that. And Charles is wonderful enough to be the character that we all know and love. So forever grateful. Also, if you've listened, you've also heard the return of Jonas Quinn. Jonas, as you know from Stargate, was mistakenly sent back to his own planet. Go ahead.
I can't. No, I just think that's honestly the biggest mistake in the good seasons
8 seasons.
of Stargate, that he was a wonderful person to step in when Michael left. But when he came back, there was absolutely no reason that he couldn't have stayed on base.
He could have been an alternate.
Research.
We've talked about this.
Basically doing the things that Daniel would have done if Daniel wasn't off-world.
And okay, so you don't want to pay, mistakenly, you don't want to pay Corin to stick around, maybe? I don't know what the higher ups thoughts were, but you closed the, well, he didn't completely close the door because he came back. But even when he came back, he didn't come back. He did an episode that Corin wrote. He wrote for himself.
Yay, but
but okay, at the end of that episode, have him come back. Like, okay. I understand Michael Shanks came back. Great,
Yay.
Sure, why not? That doesn't mean the other guy, it's not like Coy and Vance on Dukes of Hazzard comes up again. When Bo and Duke left for a money dispute, Tom Wopat and John Schneider weren't getting paid what they should have, so they said, we're out of here, and they left. Well, the producers thought, we're going to bring in their cousins, Coy and Vance, and they're just going to switch shirts. Well, people went, this is garbage. What are you doing? You can't trick us with new Bo and Luke. So after one season, they said, okay, Bo and Luke, come back. They came back. Well, there's no reason for those guys, Coy and Vance, to stick around. So they went, get in your own car and get the heck out of here. And they did. This is not that. What they could have and should have done, and again, if you've listened to this podcast, we've talked about this, but we're doing it again for her benefit because she's here too.
I really want to talk about it.
Right? And we talk about this a lot.
It was
8 years of perfection, okay? 8 years of episodic perfection. Even a couple episodes where Rick isn't in it,
still great.
It's still great because you still knew he was there, just off doing something else. Don't get me started on 9 and 10.
I'm sorry, 9 and what? I don't remember that. What do you?
I don't
referring
rewatch
to?
most of them, but yeah. Anyway,
Ooh.
I digress a little bit. What you do is, as a writer or producer, whoever made this mistake, to say, send him back, throw him back through the gate. He's not needed now. He could go back and represent his people. Now, you go, all right, Daniel's back. Well, do you know the scene where he says goodbye? Do that same scene in, say, like the conference room and go, well, we're going to have you both be there? Are you both going to be on the team now? And have them kind of look at each other and go, you want? I don't. Or when Daniel gets his memory back. Because remember when he came back for a couple episodes, couldn't quite remember everything. Whatever. You just have the conversation where you go, Jonas, if you don't mind, would you switch off with Daniel once in a while? Like, you could stay and do the research. Daniel go off world with us. You'll be our guy. Sure. That way, if you never see Corin again, which, again, big mistake, but if you had never seen Jonas show up again, he's there. It's like Chuck on Happy Days. He went upstairs and never came back down. At least the audience goes, well, he's around. They could reference him. They could mention him. And then if Daniel isn't available on an episode, Jonas is in for this one. Switch off. I mean, you had the option.
Honestly, there was the other option of keeping Jonas on the team and having Daniel stay back. I mean, you had options. Daniel is a researcher. He is an archaeologist. That's kind of what his niche is. I mean, obviously, that is the original SG-1,
right,
but that was another option. And like you said, have them switch when it was appropriate. I don't know.
I think one of the problems is, we got more comments, so I'll get to it. I will respond to this. I think one of the problems that they couldn't do that for when Michael Shanks came back, the reason he left was because he wanted more spotlight on him. And when he came back, they said, all right, we'll write a couple particular Daniel episodes to let you shine.
Yeah.
Okay, if you'd like to come back, we'll give you that courtesy. Right. And they wrote Lifeboat, which is a tour de force for him to be different characters. Does a great job.
Great. I mean, he's a great actor, absolutely,
and
a great guy too. I mean,
right. Oh, if I ever get to talk to him again, I have to compliment him on how wonderful he was to not just us, but people that we saw. You know the story, but that's just for
a wonderful person.
Yeah,
wonderful.
Just impressive on how he is with people.
So we're not downing him at all.
Love him. Yeah. Love. Michael Shanks, come on. Let's have a chat.
But we also love Corn.
But we love Corn, and it wasn't a matter of one over the other. Like Jonas never took the place of Daniel, other than a member on the team.
He completely different character, and just as wonderful. Like he seemed to, kind of just plop in there and just like grab everybody's hearts, just like any other member of the team did. Like he was able to do that, which is hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to come in and do something like that, but he did. I mean,
he did. He was so great and such
a great character.
So they should have kept him around, I think, is what we're trying to say. So one of the things that I was determined to do was write him back into the series. And if you listen to the audio series, it does not, and I make sure that it does not conflict in any way with the episodes that we love. That is a promise. I'm not doing my own thing. I am giving you the scenes and the stories in between the scenes and the stories that you see that you wish you had or you didn't know you even wanted. But they're not ever going to conflict with the gospel of SG-1. But I wanted to bring back Jonas. And if you have been listening, you will now hear my friend and yours, friend of the show, and someone who's been very good to me through the years, someone who's been on this podcast and hopefully will be on again, Corin Nemec. Jonas came back as Jonas.
Okay.
Came back for his 2-part return, which I make it pay off and it's logical. But at the end of it, we got Jonas. Well, as I said, on YouTube now, I am 1 episode away from catching up to all the episodes. It's the Christmas episode, which will work because Christmas in July. It's going to be July. That'll work. After that, the next episode that I am editing might have Jonas in it. Might have Corin Nemec as Jonas in it. Could be a 2-parter. I don't know. But yeah, that's what's coming. So buckle up. I love all the nice comments that you folks have been saying, because I'm going to say what I say every time. I don't make a cent on any of this. It's a lot of work. And it's not for ego. It's to contribute and celebrate, like Richard Dean Anderson, this podcast, all the people from MacGyver and Stargate that we love, the producers, the writers, go on. Because I've told them on the show. It's a lot of work to do an audio series, to write it, produce it, perform it. It's a lot of work. Edit it is just a monster, which is where I'm at right now with the new episode. Right after we post this one, I'll be next working on that. But the payoff is, one, hopefully I'm contributing to both worlds of MacGyver and Stargate, being a protector of the legacy. I'd like to think we're doing that. We're doing our best by celebrating it, but also looking out for scumbags who try to pass themselves off as Rick or his family members, that kind of thing.
I think you're also doing a good job of kind of introducing Stargate to MacGyver fans and vice versa, because not everybody is a huge Richard Dean Anderson fan and just, believe it or not, and just watches everything that he's in. Like, some people could have just started to watch Stargate.
Oh, I know, from General Hospital. Right. Great for you.
Right. So if they watch one or the other, and now they have this, and they're like, oh, maybe I should check that other one out. And
exactly.
Kind of introducing that to
the
them.
other thing that I make a rule is it's not exclusive. exclusive. Is that the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
It's inclusive. I want people who have never seen either show to be able to hop right in. It's a word I'm looking for, and that's not it. Basically, it's not just for the Stargate MacGyver people. I make it so anybody can hop right in from episode 1 and go, oh, okay, so this is what that's about. I don't do info dumps. I try to make it natural and make it flow and that. So if you know anybody that you think would like it, that maybe they're afraid to go, I've had people tell me that, oh, no, thanks, I've never seen MacGyver or Stargate. Guess what? You don't have to have. You just dive in and let me know what you think. And the people on YouTube have been very sweet to some. With every episode, will jump in and give me their 2 cents. Holy crap, I'm so happy you made this. God bless you. I don't take it for granted. I'm forever thankful. And typically I just respond with, thank you so much. If you're enjoying it, it makes it worth it. That really is the heart of it. If you were in front of me, I'd babble like this to you to tell you how much I'm thankful. Because that is the payoff. Again, I make no money. It's all for the joy of creating and adding, hopefully, to these wonderful worlds. So your 2 cents and you taking the time means more than I could ever say. Let me respond here to, I'm going to say SOTA, SOTA, because I'm going to mess everything else up. They say, The Survivors is my favorite episode. Mac and Pete at their best. That is a great one. And Pete saves Mac. Yeah, and it's sweet because MacGyver makes a point to say, what are you kidding? You saved the teacher. Of course you pass. That's a few seasons away, but when we get to it, that's going to be fun to talk about. And again, as we go over these early first season, even second season episodes, but in particular the first season, we're still kind of in the introduction parts of MacGyver. Like in this one, we just met Penny Parker. We haven't even met Bruce McGill, Jack Dalton yet. And that's another reason, like they brought him on to give him someone else to work off of and, lighten up a bit. Because MacGyver, being the lead, typically on his own, cannot be Jack O'Neill kind of funny. They also say Invisible Killer is a close second. That is another brilliant episode where you're watching this and you don't know who the bad guy is. The way they do that, and first of all, you get to see MacGyver in the woods. That's always a special level of awe. Because now he's not even in a city where he can use stuff around him. He's got to use twigs and berries, whatever's around. Anytime MacGyver is in the woods, like the endangered or the survivors, pardon me, you can't go wrong. Invisible Killer, though, is on a whole nother level. That's not only giving you him in the woods, he's in charge of people. Oh, and one of those people is a killer who escaped custody. And spoilers, that's not even the end of it. Because just when you think, all right, I think I know what's going to happen now. We're going to figure out who the bad guy is. Oh, wait a minute. What do you mean there's 2? That's great. Because through the whole episode, you're trying to figure out, is it this guy? It could be that guy. Could be this guy. It's 2. These are going to be great to go over when we get to them. Yeah, so I love that they're your favorite episodes. I tend to love them all with the exception of 2 or 3. They're all, because it's anything with Richard Dean Anderson. It sounds like a blanket statement, but honest to God, it's true. Same thing with Stargate. You want to know what my favorite Stargate episode is? Anything where he's in it. If he's not in it, no matter how great that episode may be, it drops a notch. Well, as you know from listening to this podcast, there are episodes of MacGyver where they try to make it a team dynamic once in a while to kind of give Rick a break. Okay. But if it's a team dynamic, it's always MacGyver undercover playing, some kind of guy, and I'm a bad guy, and not being himself. Okay, so now you're not watching MacGyver now. So Twice Stung, which by the way is a riff on The Sting, because when they wrote that, they were actually trying to pay homage to The Sting, and the fact that Dana Elcar was in The Sting we'll get there. Yeah, that one, Jenny's Chance. There's another one that I know we've mentioned. You can just feel like it's less than a classic MacGyver episode. He's there, but he's not really there. As a matter of fact, in Jenny's Chance, he's not in the last quarter of it. You see the back of his head, and then it turns out it wasn't him at all. It was actually one of his stunt doubles who plays the Steve or whatever. So anyway, yeah, great thoughts there on that. Trying to think, anything else? I know there is. We went camping. A little side note, we have our annual family camping trip. That was fun. Didn't get to go fishing. We went, usually we would do the whole, we're going to rough it. We're going to take a tent. We're going to sleep out in the woods. My body says no. I used to sleep on the ground on a sleeping bag. My back said, you don't get to do that anymore. So then we get an air mattress, and I have to bring the air mattress. And I don't know if you guys remember me talking about it last year. But last year when it was 2:00 in the morning, it rained really, really bad. And it leaked through my tent for the next 4 hours. And for the girls who had my old tent,
It's actually worse.
it was so much worse. So everything was getting wet.
We're texting each other from the tents.
Are you up? Yeah, I'm up.
Like, no.
Yeah, are you wet? No, I'm drenched. I'm swimming. So we made the decision. Now, we were supposed to be there for 2 more days. We got up. I stepped outside in the morning once the rain stopped, and we looked at each other and went, done.
We're going.
Going home. I've
Yeah.
proven that I could live off the land. 49 years old, don't need to prove myself anymore. I know I can do it. Who am I trying to impress? We're getting the one cabin over there next year. So she ran over, reserved it. God bless her. And we went this weekend. And Mikey and I go with the dog, Duffy, first, because ever since he was 3, we used to just be the 2 of us, because Everly, our daughter, was a baby.
So she couldn't go.
She couldn't go. She wouldn't have enjoyed it, But then once she got old enough, well, now the girls come. But Mikey still wants to have one day of just the guys, which is sweet.
And it's nice because she and I have a little girls' day at the house before we go to. So
Watching your movies. And it's nice because it's the movies that I want to watch.
exactly.
Musicals, like Sweeney Todd.
Which we hate watched, by the way. Love the musical, hate the movie.
Yeah.
Just had to say that.
But
yeah, tiny little cabin. Tiny little shelter. It's basically a shelter with a couple of beds.
here's what I thought of it. You guys who know MacGyver history, remember Grandpa Harry's cabin in the first episode with Grandpa Harry that we've already gone over? It was very much like that. One room, kitchen you can see, table, and around the corner is a bed. That's what you got. And a bathroom. But that's what I'm sitting there. I actually said this to my son. I said, you know what this reminds me of? Grandpa Harry's cabin. This will work. And yeah, the only
a little porch with a roof on it.
Yeah.
Picnic table on it. It was great.
However, we didn't get. If you go onto the site, my site, or on Instagram, I posted some pictures from our trip. We got all gussied up to go fishing. put on our fishing hats, put on our fishing gear. Luckily, the cabin was a few steps away from the pond that we usually fish at every year, and we walked down, and it was covered in algae. And not just on the surface, right?
Right. Yeah, I walked over the next day to see if maybe it was a little better, and I looked past the algae to see if, if there were little fish in there and see what was going on, and it was just muck.
Fish in there going,
pretty much.
It sucks. So yeah, other than that, though, we made the most of it. Went swimming in the creek, went
Weather
hiking
was
in the
great.
woods.
It was a little hot a couple days, but for the most part, it was
Friday
no
and
rain.
Saturday.
There was no rain pretty much the entire time. So
Friday and
and
Saturday was really, really hot. Mikey and I just sat with the dog on the back porch and just watched the sun and leaves and listened to the forest. Monday, because we were there from Friday till Tuesday, the power went out in our cabin. Oh, a couple things that we had to make notes of. There was no screen in the one window, so my legs got eaten alive at night. Didn't know it. The hot plate things.
it was a little 2-burner gas stove thing.
Big
countertop.
gas container outside that it's hooked to.
Didn't work.
So I think they never refilled the gas.
But it didn't even sound like it was trying.
It didn't do that kind of thing.
Yeah, no idea. And I have a hot plate, which I would have brought if I knew that it wasn't going to work, but
We'll do
it
that
wasn't a big deal.
next year.
We'll bring it just in case. But we didn't starve. We had plenty of other things to eat. But
a couple other things happened too that we had to tell them about. The bees.
Carpenter bees.
Sure. Bees on the back deck. You're actually seeing all the sawdust and spit come out from the bees.
Just literally falling off
We're watching it land.
onto the picnic
Because
table.
this big bumblebee buzzed its way through the wood on up bottom and the top. Now, we're only there a couple of days. We're not going to complain about it, but we did give them the heads up because next
Somebody
year
else will.
it might be Swiss cheese and
True.
you're just destroying a cabin. Just to give them a heads up. But anyway, the power went out Monday. We're like, no, we were in a tent last year. This will, whatever, fine.
It was a windstorm. That's what knocked everything.
Yeah, the Monday it was cool.
But
And
very windy.
very windy. And wouldn't you know it, a whole bunch of the rest of the Slumber Valley worked except for our side. And we told them about it, and we had 3 people on their own come over and go, hey, how you doing? You okay? Which was sweet. It's not our fault. It just kind of happened. It's a line
You guys
is
okay?
down.
And they kept telling us where to get water, which was weird because
Yeah.
we have water.
If you have to use a toilet, you can go that way. I'm like,
we have a toilet.
we have a toilet.
We don't have
And the guy says,
electricity.
it works even without the electricity. It's plumbing. I don't know how you think electricity works, but it doesn't make the toilet work. But anyway.
And they both did. It wasn't even just one of them. They both made sure that there's a shower over on the other.
On the other side, if you have to go on the other side of the whole land and walk
you can
5
get a bucket
miles.
and go over to the creek and fill the bucket if you
I
need
could do that, except we have a
to.
toilet.
With water.
So, but here we are.
Thank you.
Yeah, but here we are sitting around the campfire, playing games. What was the one we had?
Poetry for Neanderthals.
Great one.
Geek out.
Geek out is fun, but you have to know your stuff. Like you have to. One is a gaming question. One is like sci-fi.
Comics.
Comics. A lot of stuff. So most of those questions we can answer. It was fun. And, we're not following the board or whatever.
Right,
We
we're
just
taking
get
a score. We're just going
get
on
a
and asking
handful of
questions.
cards and just have fun. So we're playing that, and all of a sudden here,
Terrifying.
going by.
Like we're in dead silence in the middle of the woods, and all of a sudden you hear like a walkie-talkie. It sounded like an announcement of a zombie apocalypse or something.
It did sound like that.
It really did. It was terrifying.
You know that moment in a good zombie movie where the TV goes off and it's just the high pitch or the okay, something just shifted in our reality. That's what this kind of felt like. That whole moment of where the heck is
we
that
couldn't
coming
understand
from?
what he was saying.
And it's
And we
going
didn't know if it was
by.
like a warning to evacuate. Like we had
Right.
no idea.
Right. It's going by. So it's like that. And we're going, what the heck was
And
that?
then dog's freaking out.
Yeah, dog's like doesn't know what to do with himself. So,
And then Everly is the one that said,
oh, they're probably here to fix the lines.
Maybe they're trying to fix the electrical.
Because I said, wait, there's a
Makes
road up there.
sense.
So it's either some goofy Trumper going by trying to say, you need to vote for Trump at 10 o'clock at night, which isn't out of the realm of possibilities, we know. But, oh, wait, no, it was probably the electricians talking about it, which, wow, okay, they're kind of on the ball then if they're still working on it this day that it happened.
Honestly, yeah.
And
right after she said that, we saw the flashlights
big
going
lights
up
over
to-
us.
and like shining onto the electrical wires. And we were like, okay, that's definitely what it is.
But then it's weird because the girls go in.
Because the dog was freaking, so we had to go inside with him. Because
Right.
if they started walking over, he would have,
Made a scene.
seen exactly.
And so they go in, and Mikey and I stay out and just are shooting the bull. But all of a sudden, you see through the woods, no track, no like path, through the woods, like X-Files. Here comes a flashlight coming our way and shining up and looking for the cables. And I said, either this guy really loves his job or he made some bad career choices. Because imagine you're home on a Monday and you get a call 10 o'clock at night. Hey, Jimmy, get out and start walking through the woods. No, you got to go out there and you got to find where this line came. So they got to just go and follow cable and see where it fell. That's the world we still live in? You got, someone is paid to do that. Mikey said, well, I bet you gets paid well. I'm like, I don't care. What's it cost? What's it mean to you to get paid? You know what I mean? You have to like what you're doing. Otherwise, there's not enough money in the world. So we watch this guy get close enough and close enough and close enough. And we're staying quiet because we don't want to spook him. But now we know he's going to come to a ravine, and he probably would appreciate a heads up. So I yelled over. I said, watch your step. There's a drop off there. He goes, oh, thanks. I see it. Sorry to bother you. I'm like, no, you're doing God's work. Carry on. God bless you. Well, he doesn't even get all the way past us, and the lights come back on. So I kind of yelled over to anybody that was listening, lights are on. You can go home. And that was the end of that. But, yeah, we had a good time despite getting eaten alive and not being able to fish. But or boil water, have our macaroni and cheese like we were going to have, or grilled cheese, right? What was that the other thing? Yeah.
We were cheeseless, basically.
Talk about roughing it. No freaking cheese. But I think that's it. I think that's mentioned the thing. Got the box set. Very thankful, forever grateful for that. Thank you again for everybody who contributes. People have been going to our store, by the way. Somebody bought that poster right there that I made. Somebody just bought it from Australia. Someone was nice enough, by the way, to reach out from Australia to tell me that they found it on YouTube, the audio series, and how much they are pleasantly surprised and love it so much.
Thanks.
God bless you. And thank you for buying the poster. And, we got stickers and shirts. And if it's a thing, chances are Redbubble or TeePublic have it. And anytime we get a new design, if Warlock is nice enough to do it, or if I do it, and I think it's worth it. Besides MacGyver and Stargate stuff, I try to be creative and put something to make you smile or whatever on there. So thank you for going on there. Thank you for anybody who is kind enough to go to our Patreon. You could find it through, Patreon, obviously. But you could also just click on a link on the Forever Adventure Network, which is the hub of this, the audio series, the Never Gets Old podcast. Our band, Harmony Constant. Next Friday, we have a big charity gig, which, by the way, I didn't tell you, sold out.
Nice.
Yeah, sold out. They're
Nice.
trying to get a park named after our brother-in-law, who passed away a couple of years ago, call it Poppy's Park, because he, as a grandfather, was called Poppy. So they're doing a benefit, and we're performing it. And the kids are going to perform with us, because Mikey has become quite the little guitar player, and Everly sings harmony like her mom. So there's no reason why they shouldn't be on the stage with us. Yeah, just it's good stuff. And we are going to try to do more of these more often. Again, sorry, it's not been for lack of effort. I pay for this site to StreamYard to have it be able to do these episodes live with you guys and see your great contributions and all. Instant feedback is always great, but haven't been able to use it because still waiting to get guests to commit, and also to get Nate when he can. If you listen to a couple earlier episodes, when I was in between hosts, it was just me. That's exhausting. I mean, maybe you think I'm fascinating. I don't know. God bless you if you do, but I don't want to just be me. I like having someone to give their 2 cents. And so I'm blessed to have my lovely partner and best friend with me.
Happy to be here.
Yay. Okay. So before you start gagging from us being adorable with each other, we're going to go.
Too late.
Darn, lost another one. But again, we're on Twitter, which I saw Elon Musk is like, how do you like this design? It looks like an X, but it's the blue bird. What about this one? What if I do it that way? Just call it Twitter and
Go away.
go back. Yeah. So go on there, follow us on there, follow the audio series, all of this. Just go to the Forever Adventure Network. If you go there, you got the story, you got the links. I got a blog. I got to add to that soon too. Just let me know you're out there. It's very important. I'm very thankful for all of your support, and I like the community that we have through MacGyver. I think that's what it's all about. So we will talk to you guys next time. I'm going to click a thing here. We're going to watch a cool credit at the end, and we thank you. And remember, stay creative, everyone.
The MacGyver podcast is part of the Forever Adventure Network and made possible by donations to the Forever Adventure Network by Mac Jackson on Patreon. Please subscribe, rate, and review wherever podcasts are heard. And follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And remember, stay creative, everyone. The Forever Adventure Network. Welcome to the adventure.